Welcome, everybody. It's really great to see all of you. Actually, for the first time in our very first cohort call for open hardware makers. Juli, Alex, and I are really pleased to have all of you here in the program and in the call. So welcome. Today, we're going to cover quite a few things and work with the presentation and with the link for the Google document that has been shared. So maybe somebody can share that again on the chat if there was somebody that joined later, please. And so I'm Andre, and here's where we are. So just before March 14th, you got an email being accepted to the program. And from the first week, from 14th to 20th of March, we did week 0, where you had to work on your own on just getting a couple of things set for the program, right? We hope that was all fine, but in case you had any problems with that, send us a message, which is something you can do at any time during the program. And now on the week of 21st to 27th of March, we're actually doing week 1 of the program, where we're going to have where we're having our first cohort call, which is welcome to open hardware makers. And then, as you can see, we're going to have a cohort call every 2 weeks. And in between these 2 weeks, we're going to have mentor calls, which are also every 2 weeks. So I mentioned this a little bit already, but in week 0, we had the basics of open hardware maker. So who's it for, how we're going to do this, how does it work, and the participation guidelines. Hopefully you had a moment to read and go through all of this so that you are fully prepared to engage in the next weeks of the program. Here's the link on the presentation. We're going to share the link later afterwards as well. And this week we are working, and hopefully you had a moment to start already, or you have already set some block time to actually do this week. But basically we are doing welcome to open hardware makers, where we touch on things on like what it is that we define as what is to work open, the open hardware landscape, which kind of pathways are there for open hardware, and what we're going to cover a lot today, the open hardware canvas, which is a little tool where it's in very beta stage, but we're designing this as hopefully a very intuitive and very useful tool to give you an overview of your project and where you want to focus, strengths, and so on. So the agenda for today is we're going to have an icebreaker exercise, then some announcements. Then we're going to see like what actually open source can do for you. As I mentioned, work on the open hardware canvas, talk about meeting your mentor and what you have to prepare, and then get your questions and feedback. If you already have the Google Doc open in your screen, please start filling out your names and the next things in. Yeah, so now we actually go to the notes again, and there is an icebreaker question where we want you to silently write what is written here, but what you can also see on the notes, basically your name, a link to your favorite open hardware project, and why is it your favorite in 1 sentence. This will allow us to get to know like a little bit of what you like and what you dislike, and also get us like allows us to get to know more projects that maybe we don't know about, right?
I think we have some interesting projects there already. Alex mentions Auto, which is a project that was part of Open Hardware Makers previous edition. Simon, DIY drones. That's an interesting story.
I think it's quite interesting that you're putting Cybots on, because basically we have the Cybots folk here as participants.
Yeah.
So say hello. Cybots, guys.
Ryan, was this on purpose? Clean Air Crew. Nice.
Oh yeah, I really like the work of Andrew York as well. Michael, that you placed. He really has cool stuff that he creates and so on. And I really like the way those are documented and how he shares things on actually Twitter, right? He makes like a thread out of everything and so on.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it so fast too, but they're always so thorough. Like he had a new one with some relaxation dives. They had like these crazy good GIFs to go along with all of it, all to explain it.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it is because actually he has a team, right? Like he's managing like a group. And so in a way,
So I think like 2 years ago or something, he was able to make his own group.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
Shall we move to the next one, Andrea?
Sorry. So
Sorry.
no, that's fine. So I hopefully everybody had a moment to actually read all of these, and you already find like commonalities and things that you might want to chat to each other about. Make sure if you want to use the forum for this, like try to make as many of your discussions public, because this also helps more people join the conversation and so on. And so yeah, so try to use this as a space to actually like talk to each other and find, well, as it says, as an icebreaker. So here, we move on to announcements, which we already covered most of them. We are recording this session, except for the breakout rooms. So if you want to turn off your camera, you can, but then if you're in the breakout room, turn it back on so that the person who's interacting with you can actually see you. All of this will be uploaded to YouTube later so that people who didn't manage to join today can see it, but also for other people that are interested in the program. I'm pretty sure we won't have any problems with this, but everybody has read the community guidelines. And just as a reminder, we are going to enforce them in case needed, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to have that problem. And again, if you have any problems or questions, send us a message either on the forum or here or here on the email, which is on the slides. By any means of communication that it's good and works for you. So what open can do for you actually, right? So this is something that we are trying to frame for this first week so that we are also all in the same position in terms of when we're thinking about open, what it is that we're thinking about, right? And so we believe in the left side, the positives, right? That the working open can actually improve your project or product, can get you much closer to users and their needs, and can allow your project to get maximum impact. And all of them actually stem from the fact that by being transparent and open, you're communicating all the time. And so there are clear channels for people to communicate. And so it's easy to get, let's say, comments and suggestions and criticism about your project early on, rather than spend, like 6 months developing something and then releasing in it. You're constantly putting things out in the open. And so people can see the project progress. And so they can make comments right away. And so all of this allows you to talk to people, improve your project, and reach more people than you would by just releasing this like once every 6 months or so on, right? What we need to keep in mind is that open is not something that you do to get free labor. So by no means, just because something is open, you should expect people who work on it for you, right? It's definitely not a way to hit a deadline faster, because you're working open and hopefully with a bigger group of people. The tendency is that these projects will move further, but not faster, right? And it's not a way to avoid having a process or a structure. By contrary, for open projects to work, you actually need to think ahead of the process and the structure and everything, because it's not like you already have defined roles for people that you know, but you're going to be onboarding and offboarding people, hopefully, that will come in different types of conditions in terms of time, in terms of knowledge, and so on. So you need to keep all of those things in mind to make your open project work, right? Yeah. And so now, thinking about all of these things, we want to do the first breakout room for you to discuss what open can do for you, focusing on these questions that are here, that are also on the notes. So we are gonna set, sorry.
I'm gonna assign people to breakout rooms,
Okay.
And you will lose this slide when you go into the breakout room, but you have the notes. And in
Yeah.
the notes, we have the same points. The idea is that you just discuss and share back in the notes some of your ideas, okay?
Mhm.
So give me a second while I do that. Right?
Yeah.
For those of you who are here, we can start already. If you go to the notes, you have the link in the chat. If someone can paste that again, that would be great. Leave some comments there on what you discussed. What do you think Working Open can do for your project in particular? And it would be very interesting also to see if there was some discussion about what you cannot get by Working Open, or which things will be challenging even if Working Open, or because of Working Open. So we're gonna just have 2 minutes here. I say here, but you're not looking at what I'm looking at, but it's in the notes, in the talk, what can Open do for you? Oh, thanks, Andre, for putting the link in the notes. At this point, if any of you wants to just open the mic and say something, that's also right, because we are a few only.
I'd like to share like a little story, because I mean, we basically started working on this Dropbot project like over 5 years ago and started this company, and it's been open source since the beginning. But up until for that whole time, we were basically just like, publishing things and posting things, and we talked to people, but there wasn't really a lot of contribution back. I mean, there was ERS started this open drop, and there's been some kind of interesting collaborations that came out of it. But then just like, a few months ago, we started getting found out about this other project, and they had basically this other group in Washington kind of been off on their own, like doing this stuff. And they just posted some videos on YouTube, and we're like, wow, they just did all the stuff that we planned to do. Like we kind of had this roadmap, and we're going to do this and this. And it's like, these guys just did it. And then, we kind of started meeting up with them and bringing other people in. It's kind of just starting to kind of happen. And it's funny because I was like ready to give up. 5 months ago, I was like, I'm so done with this. It's so hard. And, I think, it's took a really long time, and it's a slow process, but I'm really I do believe that this is like a really, great way to get technologies out there and kind of expand them. So it's just maybe a word to, it takes a long time and it's not easy, but I think if you keep doing it for long enough, eventually you will see a payoff from putting in all the work. So
that's a great story. And maybe what we can do through Open Hardware Makers is also understand which strategies you can put in place to shorten that time as much as you can. It will take time, but how can it make your life easier?
Definitely. I mean, I think part of the reason why it didn't happen sooner is because we didn't do a lot of this stuff, we kind of did the bare minimum of just, posting your stuff. And I mean, that's better than nothing. And I think at the time, that's all the resources and time we had to do it. But I do think if you probably do some of these best practices and do things, you can make that a lot easier and more likely to happen to you.
That's great. It's hopeful. It's like gives a lot of hope to many people. I don't think we have much time to keep discussing what can Open do for you, also because this is something for you to reflect on and try to understand, in particular for your project, what you want to achieve. And this will help you a lot for preparing you to your mentor meeting. So let's move on now. Let's say you can always leave comments there. Sometimes ideas come later. And while we talk, you can also leave the things in the notes. We're not going to destroy these notes afterwards. So this is a document for all of us. But maybe now we can move to the Open Hardware Canvas, which is something interesting and important.
Yeah, the Open Canvas is also a product of our curriculum review. So this was produced also together with others and the input of the community, the Open Hardware community, and is something which we think also brings together the whole curriculum in one page. And as you can see, we have, and like maybe some of you already read the module in the curriculum. It's basically derived from the business canvas. Maybe some of you might already know this. And well, it has some like hardware specific parts in it, like assembly instruction, bill of materials, and so on. And well, we prepared this for you also to like get a nice overview over your project, like identify fields, to-dos, things where you have to work on and to improve. So we now will start with a short exercise again for you, because we want you to draft your canvas. Well, you will now get 5 minutes, and obviously you won't be able to fill out the complete canvas in 5 minutes, but what we want you to do is think about what goes into the boxes. Just like take a look at it if you did not yet do it, and try just to reflect on what you would put into the boxes. And well, obviously some of the boxes will be easier than others, and we will then later discuss this with you and also in the breakout room. So starting now, you have 5 minutes, and I will go back so you can see the canvas. You can have a look at it here in the presentation. And please just like take a look at it, think about what you would put in the different fields, and yeah, well, we will discuss about that in the breakout session afterwards.
I just linked to the editable version. You can make a copy of that slide and you will get the instructions that Alex was showing before, that one. That is the first slide. And the second one is an empty one that you can fill in with your project information. So maybe that's easier. Just make a copy and don't overwrite that.
So starting now, you will have, will be an assignment for your mentor meeting to prepare the Open Hardware Canvas. This is just like the very first go you get at it. So 5 minutes starting now. All right, 1 minute to go, and then we will send you again into the breakout rooms and give you some questions to discuss about. Now, so we will move to the next step. So we already had that. So now we are coming to the breakout rooms. Here is what you should discuss. Sorry. Please talk about if some sections were easier to fill out, or like where you already know what to put in there. Is there some information about your project that does not fit in any box? Do you have areas you can't fill in now and where you will need more input to fill them out? Do you think your canvas will change with the time? And what do you think, or what do you find useful and what not? And for what different parts are useful for you? So we will send you into this breakout rooms. You will get 10 minutes to talk about this, just exchange about like what you think about the canvas, and we will let you know and get you back then after the 10 minutes. You can leave your comments and discussions also in the notes. There's a section about that there as well.
Yeah, you should have got your invitation for the rooms.
Hello and welcome back.
Hello.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
I hope you had a good time discussing the Open Hardware Canvas, your ideas. You will have plenty more time to talk about your Open Hardware Canvas with your mentor when you meet them, but more about that later. So is everybody back again?
Yeah.
Seems like. All right. Then the next slide, because what we will share with you right now, so you should have left notes in our document. Please, if you have any questions about what I'm presenting to you now, this is an example and I will go through it quickly. If you have any questions, please share them in the doc, because we want to move on a bit quicker pace. So this is an example, and I filled out this example with a project of mine, which is also quite new, and it's an educational project. This is also not like a finished project, and it's not like a perfect project as well. So it's just a project, and I also took the opportunity to now follow along with this project, the Open Hardware Makers, as an example, as how we see it and as how we expect you to fill out the canvas and also do the assignments. So first of all, assembly instructions. It's about like what instructions are actually required. I put like the different kind instructions, the step-by-step instructions, and also video instructions in there. What I did here with this tags, with the 28 and the 27, is a feature of GitHub. If you don't know this yet, you can create issues there, and this is referring to the issues if you ask yourself what this is. Anyways, then we have the bill of materials. I did not get into details here. It's just more about like what are the main parts, like for example, the PCB, the case, and the electronics. I also linked again a issue to create a full BOM there. Source files, obviously, we are looking for files which can be edited in most, like in the best case, by an open and free software like KiCad, FreeCAD, and vector files. Licenses and standards. You will learn a bit more about licenses and standards later in the program. I chose like different ones. I noted them all down here. Key propositions and so on. I don't want to get more into details. Key propositions should be clear. So what makes your project unique and why it's special. The project components. It's about like what you want to provide as well. I also had a look at similar projects. I looked into them, and well, I also looked into what makes the project I'm developing different from them. And I collected all the resources I require to actually like work on my project. Then on the right side, we have the different channels and the different, well, the contributors and users. So I put there like the contributors to the projects. It's a mainly local project, at least it started like it. And our users are, well, also local users for now, makerspaces, teachers and schools. Well, contributor channels and user channels, they are usually, they can be the same, but some of them are might be different, and they can also be there, like show that there are ones in different stages. And then we have also different documentations for contributors and also for users. We will talk about this more in detail later in the program. So for now, this should be just like an overview, and you probably don't have, like for some things you might know what to put there, and a lot of things probably will also change during the course of this program. We just want to give you the Open Hardware Canvas right at the start, and you will step by step improve it with each module, with each week of the program. So Andre and Julieta, or Andre, are there any like burning questions in the meeting logs, in the notes?
No, there are none, but remember that you can leave questions whenever you want there.
So we encourage you, well, no, this is something Julieta will present to you now, what you should prepare for the upcoming.
Yeah. Sheldon, I think you unmuted yourself. Did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. I had a question about licenses and standards in the Open Hardware canvas. I don't know if it's showing in the doc or not. The question was, do you have any reference material for common practices, best practices for licenses, for standards, how to build a standard of this sort of things?
How to build a standard or how to apply licenses?
Both, actually. Like.
So there is a specific module of the program on licenses and standards, and on that module, that if you want to take a look at that now, you can totally do it. It's the number 6 of the curriculum. You will have the different licenses and how licenses apply to hardware, to software, to documentation. But you will have a specific module of this program that is about that. Again, if you want to read about that now, you can totally do it. And that module also deals with which standards are available for open hardware, and how to deal with them, how to apply them to your project, how to make your project more findable, for example, using those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there any other burning question? No. Okay. If a question comes, you can always leave it on the doc and we will revisit it later. So we wanted to close this meeting with something pointing you to the next steps. So next steps is next week, you will meet your mentor. So you won't meet as a group, you will just have your one-on-one meeting, the first one. And the first meeting with your mentor is quite important because it kind of sets the tone of the relationship, right? Let's say. So some things to do before that meeting. First of all, you should have scheduled, I guess, already the meeting with your mentor. If not, please do that as soon as possible. The open hardware canvas that we shared is a great tool to show to your mentor and for your mentor to understand at a glance what your project is about. Alex mentioned is users and contributors on one side, and on the other side, you have all the hardware specifics, and on the middle, the key proposition. Use the canvas as a tool to help you understand what is your key proposition, okay? So next week, we go to module 2 that is called Staging Your Project. And staging your project is all about understanding what you want to do, why you want to do it, how openness can help you get there, okay? And the meeting with your mentor should be about that, about you have 14 weeks to work in this program. What goal are you going to agree to work with your mentor in this time that is smart, that is achievable, that is something that will not frustrate you, that will contribute to your work, and that will probably teach you how to achieve bigger things, using the same methodology after the program ends, okay? So think of your meeting with your mentor as how to show someone who knows nothing about your project what your project is about and how to work on it. That's why there it says think of potential goals. Do you want to improve your documentation? Do you want to get more contributors? Do you want to reach out better to users? Do you want to improve technically speaking? Which aspect would you like to work on during this program? That's what you need to think before the meeting. Working on the assignments of module 1. Module 0 doesn't have any assignments. Module 1, the one that we are working on now, has assignments. If you do them, this will help you. Module 2, it's better if you can, not deeply, but if you read it before meeting your mentor, that will help you a lot. During the meeting, you will have to document, take notes, because this is related to be a link that we put in the notes of being a good mentee. You are the one who wants to get the most out of the mentor-mentee relationship. So you have to put the effort in trying to be understood as much as possible by the mentor and take notes of the conversation. Don't expect the mentor to take notes of what's going on. We will provide you, we send emails to you every Monday. We will provide you there with the link to the GOSH forum. That's a thread in the GOSH forum in which you can just post all the notes, all your mentorship notes, so you can easily access them and have them all in one place. You could also do it in a Google Doc, but we really think it will be more useful if you do it in the forum. Just make sure you're not posting private information, right? That's kind of essential. Another thing you can do during your mentor meetings is ask for help from the experts. If you go to our website, Community of Experts, you have a pool of people there who are not mentors, but are experts in different domains and may help you. So if you see any of those profiles that are interesting for you, you can ask your mentor to put you in touch with them. I think that's all I had to say about mentors and next week. So I don't think we have time for this, but it would be great for you to do it as an exercise yourself. Try to think what you expect from your meeting with your mentor, and that will make it much easier for both of you to achieve it by the end of the meeting. Your mentor has some, we give mentors some idea of what to discuss, how to structure meetings, but just as a good practice, it's good if you go to the mentor meeting trying to define which is the action for the next meeting, okay? And take notes of that. That will help you a lot in progressing and documenting your progress. Of course, if you have doubts about this, you can always contact us. So I think that's all for today because we are on time. Of course, make sure you have your meeting scheduled. Again, we repeat this because we know you think it is obvious, but it is not. We don't have a cohort call next week. You have a mentor meeting next week. Make sure you check your email on Monday. We do send emails every Monday. Ask your questions in the forum. Ask your questions to us by email. If you're lost, you don't understand what's going on, that's totally fine. Reach out, okay? And yeah.
Just a quick addition. We will have daylight saving time switches, and we will follow along. This means the time in your day, like for the meeting, won't change. So it will be the same time for you. All right?
Yeah. If you are lost, again, ask us. But we will update the calendar. So it should automatically reflect in your calendar. There is only one country that is not doing daylight saving, and we have already contacted the people. So it should be the same for you. And with that, I think we're closing and we have some time for questions if you want to unmute yourself and just ask right away, or if you want to go home and process what you heard today.
Sorry, I just have one quick comment because there was a question that we didn't cover about the Canvas, which is how would you go about reaching out to potential contributors or finding contributors? We're also going to have a module about this, but there are several ways to do it, right? Like just in the interest of time, really briefly, right? I guess just a direct message to people, like maybe you see a project that you like, you can just like write people directly, right? But then there is another way, which is like creating issues on your documentation that people can then find it easy for them to contribute, and then they do that via contribution. So they hop onto your project by contributing to something. But we have a dedicated module for that, right? Like how do we prepare the project to receive, contributors and so on, right?
And feel free to use the models as you see fit, right? If you are in a more advanced project and you need, like Sheldon was asking about licenses, just you don't need to do it just one after the other. You can do them as standalone models.
And if you're missing information, if you think, well, this did not answer my question, let us know. Leave us also comments. This is hosted all on GitHub. You can leave us issues there. Or if you find out, like if you answer your question, you can also file a pull request and edit basically the web page on your own.
The forum is also a great place because some people have been leaving questions there, and the Open Hardware Makers Forum is within the GOSH, the Open Science Hardware Community Forum. So people from all the community are replying to your messages, which is really good. It's a great way to get contributors too. Ryan?
Well, yeah.
I just have a question. I don't know if everybody knows how to use GitHub or what a pull request is or like that. Is that something that's going to be covered, or?
We have some extra references for that. We decided not to cover, we have a kind of a platform agnostic philosophy, but we can certainly help anyone who needs help with GitHub. So I would say, I don't know what you think, Andrea and Alex, but if you are absolutely lost with GitHub version control, there is a model on that, but let us know and we can send you a quick update. Let's say.
I just say that because like I've been using Git for years, and I just did my first pull request like last year, and it's not super obvious for everybody. So.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
You can always leave us just simple issues or write us an email. That's the easiest way. Just
the forum is also a great way. Just create a topic saying I am lost with this. Can someone help? or this is wrong. Can someone fix it?
So I guess in the interest of time, we should close this call. I would just like to say thank you to everyone again. And if you can leave us feedback on the meeting comment, on the meeting document about what worked, what didn't work in this call, what would you like to see improved? This would really, really help us improving the next calls.
And please
Okay.
excuse the initial hiccups in the very beginning.
Yeah.
We're learning too. That's the thing. We're learning how to do this. The Open Hardware Canvas is kind of as Alex mentioned, is something we created, combining stuff we know and we found useful. So again, if you think, hey, this is not helpful, this other way, too many boxes, too few boxes, just let us know, because we're really interested in that.
And we want to provide like a tool for, well, open hardware development. And well, if this is not useful at all, then, well, just let us know. It's also still in the beta version. So, well, it's still in testing period. And that's why we even need more feedback from you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Then-
nice
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
joining.
afternoon or night, depending on where you are.
Thank you guys. That was great.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. It was really great to see you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.